Today, we're going to unpack one of the most important stories from the Talmud. It's this foundational myth about a figure named Rabbi Akiva, and it's so much more than just a simple tale. It's really a psychological blueprint for survival.
See, the story of Rabbi Akiva is really an answer to this massive existential question that so many cultures have faced. How do you survive the end of your world? And for Judaism in the first century, this wasn't a hypothetical. It was very, very real.
To really get their answer, you have to put yourself in their shoes. You have to understand their reality, which was a world that had just suddenly and violently lost its absolute center. So picture this. Before the year 70 CE, the Second Temple in Jerusalem wasn't just an important building. It was the anchor of reality, the center of the universe for Jewish life. So when the Roman legions destroyed it, it wasn't just a military defeat. It was a deep psychic rupture. It was like the ground beneath their feet had just vanished, leaving this gaping hole in their world.
To really wrap our heads around the scale of this loss, there's a really useful concept from psychoanalysis called the big other. Think of it like the operating system for a society. It's all the shared rules, laws, and cultural understandings that guarantee our sense of reality. The temple was the master symbol of that whole system, so its destruction didn't just break the rules, it felt like it erased the rulebook itself, leaving this terrifying void.
So how do you even begin to rebuild from that kind of trauma? Where do you start? Well, a pretty radical solution emerged, a totally new way of being, and it was brought to life by a single powerful story.
This was a game-changing moment. We're talking about a complete pivot. Judaism transformed itself from a religion tied to a specific place to a religion built around a text. The old foundation, a physical temple where authority came from your family line, was gone. In its place was the Torah, a portable text. And now, authority wasn't something you inherited, it was something you earned through mastering language and interpretation.
And the story of Rabbi Akiva is basically the founding myth for this whole new reality. It's not a biography in the way we think of it. It's what scholars call a structuring fantasy, a story designed to create the ideal role model for this new world, the rabbinic scholar.
So, our story kicks off with a simple, illiterate shepherd and a choice that is going to change, well, pretty much everything.
Okay, so let's meet the cast. First, you've got Akiva. He's the ultimate underdog, an illiterate shepherd who basically embodies a state of lack. Then there's Rachel, the daughter of a very wealthy man, and she sees something in him that nobody else does. And finally, her father, Ben Kalba Savua. He represents the old guard, a world of wealth, status, and power.
Rachel, seeing this hidden spark, secretly marries Akiva. But she has one condition. He has to dedicate his life to studying the Torah. Well, when her dad finds out, he absolutely loses it. He disowns her and makes this massive public vow that she will never benefit from his property. And just like that, they're plunged into absolute poverty.
So what does Akiva do? He leaves. He leaves Rachel behind to go study the Torah for, get this, 24 years. 24 years of separation, of poverty, all for the sake of mastering a text.
And this right here is the psychological engine of the entire story. The father's vow creates this profound state of lack, of emptiness. And as the psychoanalyst Jacques Lacan famously said, desire is born from lack. This void becomes the very fuel for Akiva's transformation. It ignites his desire for knowledge.
Okay, to really unlock what's happening here, we need to hit pause on the story for a second and pull out our psychoanalytic decoder rings.
First, you've got what's called the realm of the imaginary. This is the world of appearances, of ego, where power is all about what you have, your wealth, your status, your reputation. This is totally the father's world. But then you have the realm of the symbolic. This is the world of language, law, and culture. You know, that big other we talked about. And in this world, power isn't about what you have, it's about what you represent. This is the world that Akiva is about to become the master of.
And this just sets up the central conflict beautifully, right? You've got the father, whose power is imaginary. It's all based on his personal wealth, and his vow is just an act of personal rage. Then you have Akiva, whose power will become symbolic, based on his mastery of a universal law. This isn't just some family squabble, it's a battle between two entirely different realities.
All right, let's get back to the story for the big climax. 24 years have passed. Akiva finally comes home, but he's not a shepherd anymore. Oh no, he is now the greatest sage of his generation.
So here's the setup for the showdown.
Ben Kulbasavia, who has lost all his money by now, hears about this incredible sage named Akiva. He's filled with regret, and with no idea who this man is, he goes to him to ask a legal question. Can the vow he made against his daughter all those years ago be annulled?
Akiva listens to the whole sad story. And then he delivers one of the most powerful lines in the entire Talmud. Ani hu, I am he. And this is so much more than just, yep, that's me. It's a declaration. He is no longer just a man. He has become the living, breathing embodiment of the law.
And in that one moment, boom, the entire power structure flips on its head. The father's personal vow, his imaginary power, is brought before Akiva, who represents the symbolic power of the law. Akiva then uses that impersonal law to nullify the father's personal word. In psychoanalytic terms, this is a symbolic castration, a dramatic demonstration that personal will is powerless against the universal law. The new order has officially triumphed.
So, what's the ultimate takeaway here? This story is so much bigger than a family drama. It's literally the blueprint for how an entire culture managed to rebuild itself after its world was completely destroyed.
There's this incredible final scene. At his triumphant return, Akiva sees Rachel in the crowd. His students, not knowing who she is, try to push her away, but he stops them and makes this stunning declaration. Mine and yours, meaning all the Torah knowledge we possess, are hers. It's a radical acknowledgement that this entire new world he built was founded on her desire, on the very lack he spent his life trying to fill.
What's really fascinating is that this story is told a bit differently in the two Talmuds. The Babylonian version gives us the epic 24-year saga, which was a great model for scholars on long journeys. The Jerusalem Talmud, on the other hand, tells of Rachel selling her own hair to support him, a more immediate model of devotion. This flexibility really reveals the story's true purpose. It's not meant to be literal history, but a powerful, adaptable myth designed to inspire and serve the community.
The story of Akiva is really a masterclass in psychological survival. It shows how a community can tell itself a new story, one that transforms a gaping wound into the very source of its rebirth. Which kind of leaves us with a question for ourselves, doesn't it? What stories do we tell to turn our own profound losses into strength?